Why do you feel powerless when she ignores you? As you check your phone every 5 minutes, does your thoughts go through every interaction as if you were trying to catch a mistake? The truth is that the more you try to catch her, the more she will flee. She might be mum, but what if I told you this could be your greatest shot at success? In this video, you will discover how to become your most confident and unstoppable self by mastering your reactions, reclaiming your life, and assisting her in realizing what she has lost. Stay tuned to the end because these teachings will change your life, not just how you deal with her. Prior to starting, kindly subscribe and give the video a like. This film will change the way you view relationships, I guarantee it. It's not like other dating advice videos. Allow me to present this to you. 1. Why she's ignoring you and why you shouldn't care. Okay, let's be forthright for a moment. Recall the girl you had feelings for or the relationship you were in the past. Perhaps everything was going sailing smoothly. You were messaging back and forth, making lighthearted jokes and maybe even flirting. She then abruptly ceased replying. No messages. Under no circumstances. Just tell me, did the thought of saying anything wrong make you freeze up? Maybe you went word by word through your texts to find the exact moment when anything went wrong. You are not alone if you have heard something similar. But I have to wonder, was it helpful in any way? Let me tell you something. When a lady rejects or treats you badly, it's easy to take her silence personally. Having said that, let me let you in on a little secret. Her quiet is usually unrelated to you. There are a few possible explanations. For her absence, she may be busy or distracted, or she might be testing your emotions. To address the question, if it's not about me, then why does it feel so personal? The problem is that when you allow another person's behaviors to govern your emotions, you give up control. Therefore, it is personal since you are making her your universe. Her lack of speech isn't the issue. Your reaction to it is. Someone will inadvertently bump into you, just as on a crowded street. You should simply brush it off and go on instead of worrying about why they didn't say sorry. Stoicism is useful in this situation. Your thoughts, actions, and emotions are the only things over which you can exert control, say the Stoics. You have control over how you respond to her actions, but not hers. Reassure yourself that you are more than the sum of your acts by taking a deep breath. No need to spiral the next time she disregards you. You are the same confident and capable person you were before her silence. You should also refrain from stalking her social media or sending her a dozen texts. Doing one of these will have no effect. If you were to quit wasting time and energy worrying about someone who isn't interested in you and instead focus on creating a solid relationship with yourself, you would be a lot better off professionally, emotionally, and personally. 2. Take control of what's in your hands. Listen, I'm going to tell you a tale. I was acquainted with a guy called Chris. The woman Chris was dating was very stunning. Her charm, attractiveness, and intelligence were truly remarkable. Things seemed to be moving along swimmingly. Then she started to distance herself from him. Slowly but surely, she began to respond to nothing. Even shorter texts and fewer phone calls. There was a yell from Chris. He spent hours upon hours, mulling about what had gone wrong, lost sleep over it, and was unable to focus on his work because of his distress. He repeatedly erased, rewrote, and resent his long messages, without transmitting a single word. He couldn't change her feelings, actions, or choices, the very things he was trying to influence. This is unbelievable. The effort proved fruitless. You have power over your mind, not outside events, Marcus Aurelius observed. Chris stumbled across this statement one night after a very rough day, and it stuck with him. An overwhelming sense of power enveloped him the moment he grasped this. His response was under his control, even if he couldn't change her behavior. So Chris made up his mind. He put down the phone, fastened his sneakers, and stepped out onto the street. Since he hadn't done anything meaningful in weeks, it felt fantastic. His first item of business the next morning was to enroll in a much-delayed workout class. People he had known in the past got back in touch with him. He threw himself into his work with new vigor. Within a month, she surprisingly got in touch. She hoped to regain lost ground. Why? Chris was now content to simply enjoy life, since he had stopped attempting to capture her. Become an expert at what you can manage. That's the simple message. Attempting to force someone to like you, respond to you, or give you priority will get you nowhere. Everything else, including how you spend your time, how you treat yourself, and how far you get is all up to you. Take it into consideration. If you focus too much on other people, you risk stunting your own personal growth. Someone who doesn't care about you is requesting that you delay moving forward with your life. You are captivating when you focus on your aspirations, hobbies, and pleasures. People are drawn to those who exude confidence and self-assurance. What am I able to control at this very moment? Should be your mantra whenever you feel beyond your control. Going to the gym, gaining knowledge, or even just spending time with loved ones who value you might be the answer. Do something, anything. Why? Because if you focus on yourself, her silence won't bother you quite as much. Make yourself the priority. My question is this: when was the last time you woke up excited about what the day held? Actually looking forward to your day, rather than just because someone messaged you or liked your photo? Especially in social situations, we have a tendency to let other people into our innermost lives. We will do everything for the approval of other people, to win their adoration and to prove our worth. That being said, if you would want no one else to put you first, you need to put yourself first. For a moment, picture the confident and successful individual in your life. Do you think they're idling about, expecting that someone will see their worth at some point? Yes, of course not. While building their empires and achieving their dreams, they are living life to the utmost. Give me a moment to tell you about Alex. Once upon a time, Alex would spare no effort in his pursuit of happiness for others. He would immediately set aside all other matters upon receiving a call or text. He had the naivete to think that he could always be there for them and earn their love and respect. Nonetheless, he grew weary, unhappy, and fixated on chasing after people who didn't appreciate him in the end. Alex lost it at last. Despite his fixation on other people, he made sure to include all of his aspirations in his exhaustive list. He had lofty goals, getting in the best shape of his life, starting a business and seeing the world. When others didn't respect his time, he learned to respectfully deny their demands. Consequently, he started rising early to accomplish his goals. This is unbelievable. After that, he was unstoppable. And what's even better? People who had ignored him before started to pay attention. They could see the change in his self-esteem, determination, and confidence. They wanted to be a part of his life out of nowhere. You unlock your own potential when you prioritize yourself. You teach other people to put themselves first when you put your own needs first. It has been proven that your efforts and time are valuable. 4. Let her chase you. Think back on a time when you wanted something badly. A job, a car, a person, and the thrill of the chase. The doubt about whether you could get it. The feeling of having to work for it was what made it so special. Now ask yourself, would you have valued it as much if it had been handed to you hand-delivered? I don't think so. People are more attracted to things that demand effort. So if you're constantly chasing after her and making her feel like she has to do nothing, she won't be interested. The story goes like this. There was this guy named David who was completely enamored with this beautiful, smart, and seemingly unapproachable woman named Sarah. Like any devoted lover would, David texted Sarah constantly, asked her out multiple times, and even changed his plans to accommodate her schedule. Sarah seemed interested at first, but her responses became increasingly brief and unenthusiastic. Eventually, she stopped responding altogether. Devastated, David couldn't understand what had gone wrong. He had been attempting to demonstrate his love for her, but his dogged pursuit had only served to diminish her interest in pursuing an intimate relationship with him. Rather than following her down the rabbit hole, David chose to shake things up. By ending all contact with her and focusing on his career, fitness, hobbies, and friends he had been neglecting, the dynamic had shifted. And Sarah was curious as to why. David had stopped trying to get in touch with her and what he was doing with his life. She wrote to him within weeks, worried about his whereabouts. The lesson here is that when you stop attempting to control other people and start living for the moment, you become more enigmatic, which increases her interest in you since she wonders about you and thinks about you more. Being the type of man who is so focused on expanding his kingdom that she has to struggle for your attention is really alluring. Instead of chasing after her, let her chase you. 5. Stay confident and composed. Think about it. What if your reaction in such instances was the key to how people view you? Do you generally lose your cool, become upset, or let it ruin your day? I know it's a challenging topic, but how do you normally react when things don't go your way? Imagine you're in a poker game and you have a good hand. Would you show your enthusiasm to the other players or maintain your composure and let them guess your strategy? The same logic applies when dealing with a lady who is ignoring you. I have a friend named Sam who was in a relationship with a woman named Emily. Everything was going swimmingly until Emily started withdrawing. She stopped initiating conversations and started responding to his texts hours later than usual. Sam could have freaked out and asked what was wrong, but he kept his cool. When Emily finally reached out to him, wondering why he seemed distant, Sam calmly and simply said, "I've been busy." He didn't accuse her or complain. Instead, he remained focused on himself, going to the gym, working on side projects, and hanging out with friends. And guess what? Ever since then, Emily couldn't stop thinking about him. For the simple reason that an air of self-assurance captivates an audience. Demonstrating composure demonstrates that you are not the kind to freeze up in stressful situations or allow your emotions to control your decisions. Being confident isn't about seeming indifferent. It's about truly understanding your value. It's about stating, "I'm good with or without you." And believe me, when you do that, women will notice, appreciate, and be drawn to your confidence. Because a self-assured guy doesn't seek validation so much as he is validation himself. The next time you encounter apathy or quiet, keep your cool, center yourself, and respond emotionally. 6. Stop chasing women. I want to know how much time you've spent texting, phoning, planning, and overthinking in your pursuit of women. Now tell me, what have you accomplished? Chasing women is a losing technique. The more you chase, the less beautiful you become. Why? Because it implies that you're desperate. And confidence is the opponent of desperation. You know, there was this guy named Ryan who was the queen of chasing. Whenever he had emotions for a girl, he would do whatever it needed to grab her attention, sending numerous texts, making elaborate gestures, and generally going out of his way. The thing was, it never worked. A friend of Ryan's once provided him some straight talk, telling him, "Stop chasing them and start chasing your goals." The buddy went on to clarify that ladies aren't interested in males who are continually racing after them, but in men who are striving for something higher. Following that piece of advice, Ryan turned his concentration from seeking women to attaining his aspirations in the areas of his work, his health, and his interests. To his astonishment, he began to attract women who wanted to be with him. If you want to know what the lesson is, it's this. When you stop pursuing women and start seeking your own growth, you become someone worth chasing. You demonstrate that you're not hungry for attention, and that's what makes you interesting. You will become the prize the minute you cease running after those who do not respect you. So avoid waste your time on them and instead concentrate on yourself, your aspirations, and your delight. 7. Reclaim your power by letting go. It looks like giving up when you let go of something essential in your life, like a crush, a relationship, or even simply a vision of how things should be. But here's the thing. Letting go isn't weakness, it's strength. Just like a rope tied to a huge weight that grows heavier the more you grip it, recovering your power is like letting go of the rope. It frees you from the weight as soon as you let it. Consider a time when you clung to someone who didn't appreciate you. Perhaps you pleaded for their attention, studied their actions, or even transformed your personality only to placate them. Did this experience strengthen you or degrade you? Letting go isn't about fleeing in rage, but rather about leaving in power. It's about declaring, "I'm enough with or without you." And when you do that, a miraculous thing happens. You become proactive instead of reactive. You quit waiting for someone else to complete you and start living for yourself. Listen, I have a story to tell you about James. He was in a toxic relationship. He would do everything for his partner, trying to fix their problems, make them happy, and win her love. But it was never enough. Finally, James decided he had had enough. He dropped her and the need to be validated by someone else. As James found inner peace, his life began to improve. He felt happier, more confident, and fulfilled, until his ex-girlfriend made a triumphant return, begging for a second chance. Letting go isn't the end, but the beginning of taking care of your life. Your value isn't based on their acceptance, but on your own. So if someone isn't appreciating you, then you should let them go. Conclusion. The lesson here is that you shouldn't let a woman's rejection get you down. Rather, you should use her absence as a spur to pursue your own goals and grow as a person. If you enjoyed this video and think it may be useful, Please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button. I would also love to hear what you have to say, so feel free to comment below. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.